Welcome to Bourbon School. I'm Marianne.
And I'm Brian.
And if you have ever wondered what the difference between barrel proof and full proof is, today we're going to give you a great lesson.
Coming right up.
Okay, Brian.
All right, Marianne.
So my assignment today was to talk about barrel proof. You're going to get into the full proof.
Right.
And as you can see, or as our viewers can see, we have a litany of examples of bottles that are either barrel proof or full proof, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see them too.
Well, they're facing out.
So we should get a couple of things out of the way.
Sure.
First of all, this was stuff we didn't necessarily know, like up until like this week when we started really looking into it.
Yes.
Because I did what a lot of people do, is just assumed full proof, barrel strength, all meant the same thing. And while some of them do mean the same thing, full proof's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
That's a little more, it's a little different than the others.
Right. And me being a novice to bourbon, I had no idea what the heck. So
Yeah.
I had to do some homework.
Yeah, right. We should say that none of these terms are like official. These are not like TTB regulated terms where if you put it on the bottle, it has to follow certain requirements.
Okay.
Like bottled in bond means it has to be certain things.
That's right.
And Kentucky straight bourbon or straight bourbon whiskey has to be aged a minimum of 2 years. Like it has to be certain things.
Yes.
These are not. A lot of these are just marketing kind of, and whatever the company chooses to put on the bottle to make you want to buy it, because like all of them mean high proof, right?
Yes.
So they want you to buy it. They want you to know this is a high proof bourbon. So they put these different terms on the bottle to catch your
Entice
eye.
you.
Yes, entice you. Very good.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry. I don't know why I said very good.
Do you want to pat me on the head?
It's because we're in teacher mode.
And we're still technically in our work clothes too.
Right, exactly, yeah. I came home from work right down here.
We came down, do this video, and then we'll get into our comfy clothes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you were charged with kind of looking into what barrel proof means.
is, yes.
So
He gave me the easier one.
well, yeah, and it's not, I mean, foolproof isn't necessarily difficult. Foolproof's a little more
Convoluted.
amalgamous. Like, yeah,
Ooh.
it is not a hard and fast kind of label. Barrel proof and barrel strength and cask strength really all kind of mean a thing.
And what it means,
in different ways.
I'll just tell you.
Go ahead.
It means that the juice that's coming out of the barrel is the juice that you're going to get in the bottle. They don't dilute it. They're not doing anything to it. What the strength is out of the barrel is the strength that you get in the bottle. And they said, in my research, they said it's typically between 110 and 140 proof.
Okay, yeah. And then beyond that, I mean, I would say something higher than that is still barrel proof, but then they get into like the hazmat. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah. So it is all the same, right?
Yes.
Cask strength,
Cask strength, barrel strength, and what was the third one?
barrel proof.
Barrel proof.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like we've got barrel strength here, we've got barrel proof here, and we've got cask strength here.
Yeah.
All the same
And they
thing.
all mean the same thing.
Right.
So it came out of the barrel, it went right into the bottle. They didn't do anything to put water in it, dilute it, anything. It's just what you get is what you get.
And I would say those are ones we gravitate towards those.
Yes, for sure.
And the other thing about barrel proof, barrel strength, all that is you get a variation of proof because it's whatever it comes out of the barrel.
Whatever it comes out to be, yeah.
So they don't bring it back to any specific number. It's just, like you said, what you see is what you get.
Good. So tell us about full proof.
Okay, so full proof is a little bit different. So I found an article in Whiskey Advocate, and it's full proof is not a difficult concept, but it is one that's not necessarily the same on every bottle you see. So Buffalo Trace does full proof in a very specific way, and this is the way because I think it's because Buffalo Trace, everybody loves Buffalo Trace. It's kind of one of the legacy distilleries. It's respected.
And speaking of Buffalo Trace, they had a mudslide today.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Totally bizarre.
I didn't read the whole story, so I didn't see like how much damage and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
it looked
pretty crazy.
bad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay. So they do foolproof this way. And this is how most bourbon aficionados would describe foolproof to you.
Okay.
That when the juice goes into the barrel, that's the entry proof. The
Okay.
maximum entry proof that bourbon can go into a barrel is 125 proof.
Yep. Totally knew that.
Obviously, when it ages, the proof changes. There's evaporation. The bourbon becomes more concentrated. In most cases, the bourbon will become higher proof.
Right.
Because of the loss of the water. So what foolproof means is they proof it back to the entry proof. So if the bourbon went into the barrel at 125,
Okay.
and then after you age it, it's at 131,
Okay.
you are going to add water to it to proof it back to 125. And the idea is that that provides consistency.
That was going to be my question, and I didn't want to put you on the spot for it, but you answered it succinctly for me. Thank you.
Now, I don't see a ton of bottles that say foolproof on them. So I don't know how many distilleries actually do this. But I do know of some. Okay, so I mean, I have some foolproof ones I can recommend. Right here, this is probably your easiest one to find.
Benchmark.
If you're in a state where they have Benchmark, this is like $25 for foolproof.
When you say foolproof, Benchmark is the first one that comes to mind all the time from me.
And this is Buffalo. This is a Buffalo Trace product. So this is one that they proof back to 125.
Okay.
And it's funny because all of the Buffalo Trace, it seems like there's a many Buffalo Trace products that are foolproof, and they're all 125. So Benchmark foolproof is 125.
Maybe that's where they feel their best stuff is
Maybe.
lays.
Barton's 1792, which is part of Sazerac, which is part of Buffalo Trace. They proof it to 125 as well. So Benchmark Foolproof is another one. And then I don't have a bottle of the Foolproof,
Okay.
but Weller Foolproof.
Yeah.
That is also 125. Now, Green River is a foolproof that's a little bit different.
Okay.
So they do
But
it
it's
different.
not Buffalo Trace.
They still no. The
So
Green
that's
River's
why.
a totally different animal, and they do foolproof in a different way. They have this is a single barrel, but they do have a foolproof bottle, but they do it totally different. They're foolproof, and again, they're using it in a different way because there's no hard and fast rule, and there's no regulation.
So they
of
can
this.
do it how they feel
can
they're
do it,
getting
yes.
the best juice. I like using that term, juice.
So the Green River, it says. Now owned by Bardstown, released a foolproof bourbon in 2024.
Okay.
The released bottle is bottled at what the distillery also describes as variable batch proof, though that's not a word they want to use on the bottle.
Right.
Variable batch proof sounds weird.
Variable.
So the vice president of product development says, we use foolproof to represent the authentic, full-flavored version of the bourbon.
Okay.
Each batch has its own characteristic flavor to enjoy.
So they bring it back because they think that's where the best flavor is going to be.
Right. They are batching this and then saying this is the bourbon at its full proof.
Yeah.
So that one's kind of, there's really no process behind it.
Okay.
They're just throwing the word on there. But that kind of shows you like full proof's a little like,
It's
it can
not
be
hard,
whatever they want it to be.
Yeah, it's not hard and fast.
No, it's not. And some companies might put full proof on a bottle, and that's just their barrel proof or barrel strength.
Sure.
So full proof is, it could be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So give us some barrel proof bourbons that you think are top notch.
Okay, Elijah Craig.
Okay.
The Stag Junior.
Right here.
And the
Right
Wild
here.
Turkey Rare Breed.
Right there. Good. All great ones.
Hey, and we had all three.
We
that
did.
was not planned.
We did.
Hey, high five to that one.
And like I said, for foolproof, the ones that I could find very easily online that are foolproof and use that foolproof process would be the Weller foolproof, the Benchmark foolproof, and the 1792 foolproof.
Yep.
Like we said, you can get the Green River foolproof, not exactly the same process, but it's what they call foolproof as well. I would say probably the best one out of that bunch. I didn't like the Green River too much. So
I like the Benchmark.
the Benchmark is fine, but I would say my favorite out of that group is the 1792.
Oh, I just had that last night, didn't I?
No, you had a single barrel.
Just kidding.
But the 1792 foolproof, usually you find them in store picks, and whenever I see a store pick, I grab one.
Well,
we just killed one last week, so it's time to get another one.
Okay.
So I guess that's a little lesson.
A little lesson on Bourbon School of barrel proof versus foolproof. And
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed your lesson today, scholars.
And like I said, we kind of learned this too as we were researching it, because I never really thought about there being a difference.
No.
Like between full proof and barrel proof, or never really took the time to look into it.
No.
So I think it's kind of an interesting one. We'll have to do more of these where like we take some terminologies that maybe people confuse or maybe people aren't aware of, or maybe even ones that we
aren't even
need
100%.
clarification
That's
on.
right. Yep.
And kind of clear it up, because there is a lot of terms flying around there, and some of them are just marketing and some of them actually mean something.
Yeah.
So it's good to know
I
what
think
you're reading
this
on
is
the
good.
bottle and what it means.
I'm glad to be a little more knowledgeable today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, if you like this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell for notifications.
So you never miss another episode of Bourbon School.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh, that was an excellent
That
clink.
was a good cheers.